And this is what happens when you make a decent mumble rap album. So thank you, Dex, for opening our minds to an art form that is currently being shat out by hundreds of thousands of other people with literally zero talent. With that being said, today's the day that I am reviewing the new debut Famous Dex album, Dex Meets Dexter. I knew literally nothing about him coming into this album, and I think the mysteriousness of his artistry had definitely made this album more listenable and interesting. But as a whole, his talent is very much there. He doesn't sound like other mumble rappers. He blends in with the talent, and he also has lyrical capability. It's nothing Shakespearean, but it's definitely present, and he could hold his own against other mumble rappers. He can hold his own against some rappers that are coming up right now. It just depends on the situation. He's a very goal-oriented artist. There was a goal with this album, and the main purpose of this album was to let you know, I am Famous Dex, but I am also Dexter. Almost like how Obi Trice introduced himself on Cheers. We wanted to know a whole lot about where he came from. Now, granted, Dex doesn't really talk about much of where he came from. He came out of Chicago. You can pretty much understand where this man had come from growing up in the constant set of violence and murder and corruption, and the list goes on and on. If he's, to me, one of the most interesting people out of Chirac in a very long time. In my previous videos, I've said that I have grown respect for Chief Keef. That is definitely true. Along with some of the other artists that have come out of Chirac, I really appreciate some of the progression that they've had within the past few years. But Famous Dex definitely does shine above the others that are coming out right now, and even the couple people that have come out in the last couple years from that area specifically. It's not a joke. It's not how academics is saying drill or Chirac rap should be. It's real. It's legitimate. You can feel what this guy is saying. He's not claiming to shoot anybody or anything of the sort. He's just rapping. He's putting his heart into his music. And he's fitting in where other people stand out. And he's trying to stand out with his personality rather than trying to make a faux image of himself. And I love that. One of the main things that gained a lot of publicity on his part was when Lil Xan was talking about how he didn't really enjoy Tupac's music, and he said, you really have to respect the people that have laid the groundwork for the artistry that you're participating in. And I totally agree with him on that. But did that increase my reception of this album? Maybe a tiny bit, but not a whole lot. It's more or less the entertainment behind what is being made that made this album so interesting. The intro in and of itself definitely does sound like a stereotypical mumble rap song, but that's not really the takeaway from it. It's more or less letting you know how he feels that he wants to introduce himself to the listeners for people that are first time or seventh or eighth time listeners. It's something that he wanted to do to let you know that he's here. And I appreciate that. This album is letting you know that he is here in the artist's form, and he's saying what he feels in his heart and in his mind. More or less in his mind, because not a whole lot of the stuff that you would talk about, bitches and sexual things, they don't really come from the heart. They more or less come from the brain. Regardless, the intro is very interesting. It's a very good song. Another very good song on here features Wiz Khalifa, and that is called Take Her. Now, Wiz Khalifa, to me, is a fantastic feature artist and never really fails to impress when it comes to a feature. His solo stuff, that's just my opinion. I don't really enjoy it that much, but for everyone else that enjoys it, you're allowed to do that. That's totally fine. I just wouldn't really put him where everyone else does. He's definitely a lyricist. He's a very good artist. But nevertheless, he did very well on this song, and so did Dex. They complemented one another very well. Another very good song with Ronnie J, which, if I'm correct, is one of Denzel Curry's main producers, has a song on here with Dex called Hemi, and that's where he lyrically goes off. He does a very good lyrical chatter on this song. And it kept me entertained all the way through. Every once in a while there would be a stereotypical ad-lib, but that's totally fine because it's not every other word. Much like how Lil Xan did the yeah, or yuh, whatever, it doesn't really matter. He's keeping you entertained for the entire length of the song, not just for whatever hype beat is there. Now, another one of the really interesting songs on here, I'm going to talk about two of them at once, is Them Days and Said So. Them Days and Said So are sing-alongs. You can literally drive to this set of songs and just sing to them. They are very slow and easygoing, but they also have a very lyrical punch to them in the style of mumble rap, which makes it counterbalance itself, but also sets it even. And that just makes it more and more interesting in my eyes. And if you guys are interested in this kind of music, then I highly recommend this album. Another song that caught me extremely off guard was Light, and that has Drax Project on it. I don't know what his inspiration was for this song, but Dex definitely captured something that is similar to Heartless off of 808s and Heartbreaks and formed it into a love song. I love this song. More or less, it's probably one of the best songs on the album, outside of the lead single, Pick It Up with A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky does his thing. I don't really need to speak much on that because his lyricism has always been there, and he can even pick up where a trap song would fall apart. He never not delivers. He's a very, very good package handler when it comes to music. And Dex even does his thing on here. The beat itself, you guys have probably heard this song 100,000 times, but the beat on the song is killer. It keeps you entertained, and it's viral for a reason. Another one of the songs on here that caught me off guard was XO. I kind of thought that was going to be a love song, but he kind of talks about people being on his dick and the women that are on his dick in a negative stance, which is really cool. The end of this album, weirdly enough, which is hilarious to me, comparing itself to the Lil Xan album that had a Diplo feature, this also has a Diplo feature called, hang on a minute, I don't remember it, Champion. It is called Champion, and that song's extremely entertaining. It's like Diplo has finally found his niche, and if he combats with good mumble rappers, then they will come out victorious. If you combat with Lil Xan, you come out losing the war. That's pretty much it. So, with that being said, I really enjoyed this album. I highly recommend it. If you guys are trying to get into mumble rap, this is probably a very good gateway artist. Or if you're a mumble rap listener, give it a listen. It's pretty good. I'm shocked. A lot of people will probably be very confused on the fact that I enjoyed this album and don't like a lot of other mumble rappers, but that's just me. He makes things interesting. He makes it catchy. So I think it's just because he knows how to make something eye-popping or ear-popping, however you want to put it. That's pretty much my ultimate weakness. If you know how to make a song good, then I'll be caught. I'm in the web. You got me. That's pretty much all for today. So tune in tomorrow when I have the episode 20 special on the Prof album, Pookie Baby. I am very excited to hear that album, and I cannot wait. I have literally escaped any kind of information regarding this album outside of the 2 singles that have been released for it. And I don't want to listen to anything else, because if I do, I'm probably going to have preconceived notions, and he's even talking about the album, having a small interview series pasted on Facebook everywhere. So I'm avoiding that like the plague. But to the people that want to see tomorrow, Prof is a very interesting artist, so I highly recommend the album ahead of time, but I'll let you know how I feel on it tomorrow. So today, if you want to, look in the description below for the famous Dex album and listen to it. Tomorrow, I'll be back with an episode 20 special on Prof's album, Pookie Baby. Until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love. Peace.